In this episode, I want to be installing transfer. Probably already felt this on everyday driving. When you're taking a turn too fast, for example, I'm turning to the left, the weight of the car is going to transfer to the right and you'll feel the car trying to lean. Now if we imagine my fingers as the sway bar or the anti-roll bar and the rest of my hands as the wheel. Now if I'm going forward and I go over a bump, so when one wheel goes over a rock, it applies a twisting force to the sway bar, the energy comes down and that twisting force eventually reaches this other side. Pulls it stiff, it's going to want to resist that twist and it's going to bring this up, bring this wheel closer to the body of the car and reducing the body roll. Now if you're going into a turn really fast, right, let's say I'm turning right, and now if I'm diving, all of the weight transferring to the front of the car, this is going to go down or depress a little bit more than the other side. And so this is going to apply a twisting force, and then naturally the left side of the car is going to want to lift. So when the energy of this twisting force reaches the other side, it's going to want to bring that sway bar down and level out the weight of the car, reducing the weight transfer, reducing the body roll of the car. And it's really cool. So by having a thicker sway bar, and in my case it's a Whiteline kit, it's going to resist more of that twisting force, reducing more that body roll and weight transfer from either side, and help the car stay planted, especially through a turn, and that's going to make you go faster. The Whiteline kit comes with everything you need and some pretty good instructions. I've tried to include a lot of steps in this time lapse because I couldn't find many tutorials and videos of the front sway bar for the WRX. Alright, so the front sway bar is pretty annoying because you need to get off all the under tray, splash tray, and you also need to get off this transmission plate or whatever it is. I don't know, honestly. Gotta take this off with these bolts and then we can access the sway bar and the links there. To get rid of the front sway bar and end links, use some lubricant like WD-40 to crack those crusty nuts. Removing the front sway bar is really annoying because the J-pipe is in the way. You can do it without removing the J-pipe, just fiddle with the sway bar and move it around the exhaust. You just need to be patient with yourself. Alright, so here is the comparison. Old sway bar, new sway bar. This one is a lot thicker, I think maybe 2 or 3 mil thicker. It's more solid and it is a lot heavier, so it resists more of that twisting force you get when you lift one side of the car. As you can see, there are 2 holes. One is more stiffer than the other. I'm going to start with the softer one because the front of the car is already stiff and it is an everyday driver, so I don't want it to be overly stiff. So I want to get some of these, I want to get these bushings on it and then we'll see what's going on. Greaseless bushings on the inside. There's some fuzzy material, not sure if you can see. You can see over there maybe, it's a little bit fuzzy, it's pretty cool. These ones just clip over like so, and then we use the brackets from before to secure it to the car. Alright, so here's the old link next to this one. Notice how the Whiteline links are so much more beefier than the stock links. That's because we've got a beefier sway bar. We need a beefier end link to connect the 2 wheels. Otherwise, if we go for a beefier sway bar with a thin stock end link, there is a possibility that it could snap off. So I'm just going to undo this, make it roughly the same height, and then put them in the car. Alright, so one hole is more stiff than the other. I want to guess that this one is the less stiff option, whereas if we use this one, it shortens the distance between this link and that link, this point and that point, so this will make it stiffer, that one will make it softer. With Whiteline, and they sent me these end links which are a lot thicker. Alright, and I noticed that this was bent after doing a lap. I came back, I checked underneath the car, and the sway bar was not centered. The sway bar was more towards the left than it was to the right, and when I had another look, I saw that this was bent. Now these are a lot beefier, so much beefier than the other end link that I initially got. Alright, so the best thing about this compared to that, other than it being much more stiff, is that you don't have to worry about the preload. With this one, you've got to match the length to the factory end link to make sure that there's no preload on the sway bar. Whereas this one, you just put it in and bolt it up. Another thing is that it's so much easier to bolt this to the sway bar. For this one, you got to put in an Allen key and use a spanner to tighten that, and that is annoying. With this one, washer, put it on, nut on the other side, and tighten it up. So it's going to be a lot easier to tighten this when it's on the car. Let's do it. Unlike the front bushings, the rear bushings for this kit require some lube, which is included. You can see that some paint from my sway bar has been chipped away from the sway bar moving around. These orange braces are supposed to stop the sway bar from moving, but I guess it needs help from the end links too. Installing an aftermarket sway bar is literally the reverse process of removing the stock sway bar. This kit just comes with extra bracing at the rear. And we're all done. Our front and rear sway bars are both in. Since I've put them in, it's been a few weeks, and really, do I notice the difference on the road? Very slightly. I've seen a few videos where people upgrade their front and rear sway bars. They say they immediately feel the differences or the effects of a thicker sway bar. And I honestly don't understand how you would feel the difference if you were driving at a normal speed and turning like a normal person. I mean, through the mountains, if you go for a spirited drive or through a large turn, yeah, you would feel it, but just on the road normally, nah. You won't be able to tell the difference at all. You really won't feel a difference until you get out on track or until you start punching the car through corners, and that's what I'm going to do in the next video. I want to go back to London Raceway and I want to punch the car through the track. I want to see if the tires, coilovers and sway bars actually make a difference. If you enjoy what you see, please make sure you hit the like, subscribe and bell icon. I'd really appreciate your support here on the channel. Thanks to Pro Speed Racing for continually supporting this channel. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you on the racetrack.